Right off the flag, right up. Belfast City Hall, and that's where they were going to be putting up the Palestine flag.
Of
Where's the other milk? He's way up there, Neil. I don't know.
just fed up with City Hall, City Centre being taken over by pro-Palestinian Republicans week after week. And it's time it stopped. You know, the business community will complain if it's an orange parade, taking away trade. But you can't do it. Republicans, pro-Palestinian trade, week after week. Not a wonder they don't even sell the coffees now, go to the businesses. But they put up more stuff. Well, I was going to be very brief here because words are speakers and the band have promised to play a few tunes later on, is that right? Now, the reason for our parade today was long before the Palestinian, pro-Palestinian present for their parade and rally, long before them. But it's great to see the combined unionist strength, though it's not as strong as the combined strength of Alliance and Sinn Féin. Nevertheless, that strength is still there, and it was shown because of the combined efforts of the unionist parties in the City Hall. Today, the Palestinian flag is not flying there. So is that not a message that unity is strength? And it's great to see them using legal action and using their heads for a change. What was the purpose of this parade? We put in 11-1. And you know, the unionist communities have been attacked and been demoralised and depleted down through the years, and particularly Sandy Road and the Shankill, with huge areas of land that should have traditional family housing. You know something? The Housing Executive have plans for a large site on Hope Street, Sandy Road, and they call it the new opportunity for the city. But you know, in these plans, they've only six townhouses, no family type houses at all. And you see that the Housing Executive should get a message from this rally today that their plans for Hope Street, this is what we think of their plans. And that goes for the Shankill and other unionist areas as well. But you know, Mr. Lyons, who we spoke to some months ago, we pointed out to him that yes, there's a need for social housing, there's a need for more social housing, for a family social housing. But what you're doing, and what the governments have been doing down through the years, have been eroding the family type housing by HMOs, holiday lets, short-term lets, and landlords are charging rents that ordinary people can't afford, and we have an unfair system of allocation that doesn't favour in any way local people. So they have driven out the unionist population in unionist areas of Belfast, not by hundreds, but by thousands. And every week we see more HMOs, we see more short-term lets, and it's got to stop. It's got to stop. And we've got to be organised. Do you know who has the power? Fellow loyalists. The power rests with our councillors, especially our councillors, especially those on the planning committee and the MLS. They can change things. Well, I can tell you, I'm coming up to my, well, not say what age I am, but I'm not that young now. But I can tell you, for many years, they have ignored appeals, they have ignored proposals that could put an end to this erosion of family housing in unionist areas. Now the other thing, very briefly, that this parade was organised for was to celebrate the retention of the 1642 Great Bridge. 1642 Great Bridge. That was the bridge that King William crossed. How many times have I seen in the papers? How many times have I seen on television or heard on television and seen on television? How many times have I heard that he was alleged to, or according to folklore? Let me tell you, if you look at the maps of the time, there's only one way he could have went, and that was over the Great Bridge. Otherwise it was through forest and bogland and a river Blackstop or Owen Barra. You don't mind me speaking a wee bit of Irish. Alright. But what happened after that? The 21 arch long bridge was constructed by 40 years after that, and they decided to drop the name eventually, Great, and replace it with Brickell after the brickworks in the area. Then after a time they replaced it with Saltwater. But in the middle of the 1800s, the Orange Men of Sandy Row, because of an incident where they beat back Roman Catholic rioters who were attacking Durham Street and Sandy Row, the Orange Men beat them back, and as a result of that they called the Blackstop River the Boyne, and they called the Saltwater Bridge the Boyne Bridge, and that's what has been named the Boyne Bridge ever since, 170 years. Now, in 1936, they built the railway bridge and they incorporated the old Great Bridge, the Boyne Bridge. They incorporated that and they let the name follow on, Boyne Bridge. And I'm not going to say too much about this, but they made a decision, the planners, are backed up by our MLAs. There was no support from our MLAs. There was no support from our councillors when they proposed the demolition of the Boyne Bridge. We fought it tooth and nail. I would like to say a lot about that, but we don't have the time. Well, let me tell you, as a result of our battle, as a result of our campaign of nearly 12 years, well, what would have happened today if we hadn't the battles? That road would have been flat. The 1642 bridge, King William would cross, would have been away to a museum or somewhere. The road would have been Durham Street and also probably an Irish as well. But today you have walked over Boyne Bridge Place. We got it named, we have kept the name Boyne, and it's going to stay Boyne. And it's opening the road on behalf of the people of Sandy Row, because the future is not for you, the future is not for me, it's for the young people. And it's great to see so many young people here today, and I'm appealing to the young people right across Belfast, the unionist young people, to get organised. Now, I would like to say more, but I'm going to shut up in a minute. But before I do so, I just want to pay tribute to Arnold Sproul, very briefly. The Union flag protesters will today remember Arnold Sproul, who suffered a heart attack and died on the 29th of November 2013. This was after he was arrested and put into a police car, just over there. Put into a police car at the end of a City Hall protest. Arnold described himself as a quiet and liberal type of person. He joined the flag protests because in his view there had been one concession after another to Sinn Féin. Arnold will always be remembered by his fellow flag protesters. Now, the band will be playing shortly, but before they do so, and instead of me speaking again and making announcements again, we're going to ask the following in this order. We're going to ask John Hunter, and I think it's appropriate because the band North Belfast, I think there's quite a number of visitors in all the band today. Great to see it, great to see it. Well, John Hunter is going to come forward and attribute to the flag protesters. Then we're going to have John Ross, a tribute to the veterans. Then John Hunter is going to come again, a tribute to Clockburn, Young Conquerors Fruit Band. They will give you a tribute. And then there will be a response from one of your good-looking members of the band. And then after that, the band will play 2 or 3 tunes or whatever, and then the national anthem. By the way, and you're a credit to unionism, you're a credit to loyalism. By the way, hip operations, you'll have to be very careful.
Folks, big round of applause there for Billy. It would be impossible to give even a rough estimate of the number of photographs taken of the Union flag protests and the number of people throughout the world who actually looked at them and the conversations that resulted from looking at all the photographs that's been taken down the years. As most people know, the flag protest has been held here every single Saturday from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock for the last 13 years. In addition to the many thousands of photographs taken, there have been thousands of conversations with visitors, inquired what the protests were about, and also of great importance, the many interviews with reporters, journalists, researchers from all over the world. Only a fool would say that those who stand here every week have achieved nothing. They have been educating the world on our behalf on our injustices. Can we please give a round of applause to show our thanks and appreciation to those protesters who have given up their time every single Saturday for the last 13 years to maintaining the flag here in Belfast City Hall. Well done, every single protester. I'll just pass you on to John Ross.
Everybody hear me okay at the back? Look, just before I say anything, we just had a warning from the police for people with face coverings on. Alright? Pass the American, but pass the Alright, okay guys, we can just settle down. Alright, I'm just going to speak a little bit about veteran issues, legacy issues. And the first thing I'd like to mention is I'm a parachute regiment veteran of 23 years. See half there? And I'd just like everybody to put their hands together for a man who suffered 53 years, 7 months and 8 days of persecution. Persecution, more prejudicial comments and write-ups in newspapers than anything I've ever been able to discover, more than Jack the Ripper. And that soldier, and I'll not mention his name because he's still subject to an anonymity clause, was Soldier F, who was found not guilty. We attended the court throughout his trial, and Soldier F should never have been there. But when the not guilty verdict came, we left the court, we left it quietly, not because we didn't want to upset anybody, but there are other prosecutions coming behind. And we've already got somebody termed Soldier B, who has already had his first court appearance. There are other files that we know of that are currently sitting with the PPS. And the legacy bill that Labour are pushing through at the minute is reopening the inquiries that Republicans exploit Article 2 of ECHR to get prosecutions and compensation. Believe me, it's fairly lucrative if you can say you were killed by the security forces. So you'll hear a lot about the legacy proposals that are going on and going through Parliament in a minute. And what is legacy? Legacy is what you leave behind. And what we're leaving behind here in Northern Ireland is revisionism, the rewriting of history by Republicans. They are sanitising their terrorists whilst criminalising those who lawfully oppose them. Today in Northern Ireland, a victim, an innocent victim who lost their life or was injured by terrorist action, Republican terrorist action, the terrorist now has equal status to them. So Begley, who bombed the fish shop on the Shankill Road, has got equal status to those that he murdered. That is the obscene situation that we have in Northern Ireland today. And that is the obscene situation of legacy, and legacy that is being pushed through. So what I ask, if I can make a request to people today, is stand by, continue to stand by Up Banner veterans. My regiment, we're labelled like the Black and Tans. You know, I'm a murderous psychopath. I'm a demon. Believe me, I'm an ordinary wee fella who left the Woodville Road in 1970, joined the parachute regiment, spent 23 years in it, served in this country throughout the 70s, 80s, 90s, back home as I called it. I am just typical of every soldier. Every soldier. We all came from working class areas, ordinary guys, serving our country, doing our best, but we're being branded as demons. Equivalent through the Legacy Act with the terrorists that we opposed. 53 members of my regiment died here in Northern Ireland. 53. We remember them. We remember them with honour, and we will never forget them. Thank you.
Thanks also goes to the band leading us here today. The first band to parade over Boyne Bridge Place, which was only opened this morning. Also to all the bands who have supported this protest and other protests throughout the country down the years. It has become more apparent that we all need to be supporting each other, even more so in today's society. Today's band is well respected within the band scene and the loyal orders. They have seen it all down the years since its formation in 1973. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the Clockburn Young Conquerors.
Okay, first and foremost, we'd like to thank all the band members from all over that came today for this parade. Just reflecting a lot of stuff here, what some of the veterans have said here about Northern Ireland. I'm a veteran loyalist, right? I'm sure there's loads of veteran loyalists down here today. Where's our equal rights with Republicans? No, no. The Orange Order? No. Today, people protesting? No. By the way, I think one of our bombers has a wee bit of a hoodie on. Take it off, please. Don't give the police a chance to lift you. Anybody has a hood on, covering their face and the bomb, please take it off. I don't want to make things easy for these people. We've cut 11 bar 1 in, we've come here today, we've done it with respect, and we'll end up with respect, gentlemen. Okay, I want to make sure you do that. I don't want somebody walking down when these people getting lifted. Number two, gentlemen, the RUC years ago was our police force, same with the PSNI, they're our police force. But we're getting raided every way here, every way we're getting raided. Regards marching, the veterans of the paramilitaries that came out of jail was trying to move forward, getting hammered. The Good Friday Agreement, if any of you don't know a Good Friday Agreement, any of you young lads, they're all signed up for peace in the country. What peace? What peace? We're getting everywhere we go. It's the bands, the lodges, or whatever. At the end of the day, gentlemen, see the next generation. As these gentlemen says, we'll not be here then. We've got to keep moving on. Support the Union flag, supporting Israel, and as far as Palestine, when is those people go over there and see what their equal rights is over there? When they go over and live there and see along the last over there. It wouldn't last very long, let me tell you. And as far as human rights, we'll never go anywhere in Northern Ireland. Let me put this back to the political people that were talking. We're stuck here because of a Good Friday Agreement. And it doesn't matter in 4 years' time who gets into government, whether it be Farage, right wing, left wing. They've got to scrap a Good Friday Agreement, which shall not happen. So we're stuck. We're stuck with this human rights court. If somebody comes here illegal, goes into a house, gets everything paid for, blah blah blah. And at the end of the day, gentlemen, all we're looking for is a level playing field. And that came from Michelle O'Neill back. Michelle O'Neill says there'll be a level playing field for everybody. There's no level playing field for Lordist people in Northern Ireland. Keep some of it!
Right, the band's going to play a few tunes, and I just appreciate again, thank you again for coming, and for having such a responsible. Of course, I wouldn't expect anything else from loyalists. We're not Republican mobs, so well done everyone, and we're going to enjoy a few tunes, alright? And then the band will then finish up with the tune of the night.
If we could just say, quickly, 3 cheers for the Clockburn Band. Fantastic. Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray!